Hello, welcome to this episode of the speaker series for the Historical Society of Harford County. We are delighted today to have Dr. Bob Willenbrink as our guest. Bob is the executive director of the Maryland Center for the Arts, located here in the Bel Air area. He's been there for about 3 years. He's masterminding arts promotion throughout the county, as well as the development of an actual site for the Center for the Arts. So Bob, do you want to go ahead and talk to us about the Maryland Center for the Arts and the arts in Harford County today?
Well, the Maryland Center for the Arts is very active. We're developing our property that was donated to us by Emily Bayless Graham and the county. And we're very excited about all the programming that we do, as well as supporting other groups and partnering with other groups throughout the county. This year, we've partnered with the Asian American group. We've partnered with the Susquehanna Symphony Orchestra. We've partnered with the Harford Artist Association. So doing those partnerships has been of great significance. And that's what we're trying to do, is to get as many people involved in the arts as we can. But the big question is, what is art? Everybody says, well, what is art? Well, there's lots of things. It's a form of expressing oneself. It's a way that we communicate to one another. If you particularly look at a small child, they'll draw a picture to communicate an idea that otherwise wouldn't be done. And no matter what it ends up being, a child drawing a pumpkin tells you that they're ready for Halloween. And it may not be the prettiest pumpkin in the world, but you know what they're thinking about. Aristotle, going all the way back to Aristotle, he talked about it's a way to see things inside you. It's not a way to just look at the outward appearance, but understand the inward significance of life. And frankly, the arts have the power to transform, illuminate, to educate, inspire, and motivate. If you lump all that together, it's a real simple phrase. And I firmly believe that arts are a way to understand the world. We talk about a rainbow. A way to understand a rainbow is through the arts, the arch of it. And how many times have you looked at a rainbow and just gone, oh, it's so beautiful? That's an artistic view of the world. Or you could take a scientific view of the world, which says, oh, it's made up of art droplets and the sun passing through the art droplets. And I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how it is. But that's a scientific view of the world. So we all possess different ways to look at the world. And art is simply one of the ways that we look at the world. And anything that lets us do that is an artistic view. If you look at one subject, we're going to show you some visions of former President Obama, and you will see that 6 different artists had 6 different artistic views. The first one is an absurdist view, and the one in the middle on the bottom is perhaps the most realistic view. But each of those tells us a different artistic vision and tells us something about both the subject and the person that created it. The upper right-hand corner is an Asian view of Obama. The one in the middle top is a wider view of all the challenges that he faced. So all of those are different views, and all of them to give us a way to understand President Obama in one form or another. So why do the arts matter? Well, they matter for a number of reasons. They allow you to experience different things. They allow a unique expression. Before we move on, I'll still finish that. The arts matter because they're a record civilization, and the arrow points our way to the future. Arts matter because people matter. Arts events are one of the best ways to gather individuals, and art transforms cultural boundaries. So that's why they matter to us. The arts are also important in our society. And perhaps this is the most significant thing to me about the arts. First of all, the arts are beneficial to the health and well-being of our military. They Arts heal the mental, physical, and moral injuries of war for many of our service members. And veterans rank the creative arts therapies that they go through in the top 4 out of 40 interventions and treatments. They promote resilience during pre-deployment, deployment, and reintegration back into society. Veterans and their families and caregivers all treasure the arts because it allows them to assimilate back into society in a quicker fashion. Arts improve healthcare. Hospitals provide arts programming for patients, for families, and a lot of times for staff. 78% of hospitals deliver these programs because of their healing benefits. Shorter hospital stays, better pain management, and less medication are some of the benefits that the arts bring to patients and to hospitals. Arts improve your well-being. 81% of the population says that the arts are a positive experience in a troubled world. 69% of the population believe the arts lift me up beyond everyday experiences. And 73% feel the arts give them pure pleasure to experience and participate in. Arts strengthen the mental health. They're an effective resource in reducing depression, anxiety, and increasing satisfaction. Just a few minutes a day, up to 30 minutes a day in arts activities can combat the ill effects of isolation. The arts were really essential to many people during COVID-19. I can speak to you personally as a musician that I didn't feel nearly as isolated when I pulled out my guitar and I sang. I didn't care who heard me. I didn't care what it was, but it made me feel good inside. And I think that you can talk to any artist who was isolated, but they weren't isolated because they were participating in the arts. They weren't alone. They had something to do. And how many people feel better when they frankly sing in the shower? And that's just an art form that people can enjoy. And having those forms of art available to us were very, very important to our mental health. And I can tell you myself that if I didn't have a guitar, I would have gone crazy during COVID because we were isolated. The arts drive industry, and particularly creative industries. Art businesses range from museums to symphonies to theaters to for-profit firms of architecture, filmmaking, design companies. An analysis by Dun & Bradstreet data said that 673,656 businesses in the United States were involved in the creation or distribution of the arts. That's 4.1% of all businesses in the United States and 2.04% of all employees. The arts spark creativity and innovation. We all know that innovation is important to us, particularly in this technological age. And many businesses, or all businesses, rate creativity as among the top 5 applied skills that they seek when they hire an employee. The Conference Board's Ready to Innovate report said that 72% said creativity is of high importance when hiring. Research on creativity shows that Nobel laureates in the scientists are 17 times more likely to be engaged in the arts than other scientists. And what that does is it allows you to think in different ways. We talked about the scientific method of thinking as opposed to the arts. It allows you to approach things in a creative and innovative way and see things that are completely different. And every, whether it's digital art or painting or music, it's all creative and it's innovative. The arts have a great social impact. When was the last time you went to a movie theater and there wasn't somebody else there? They have a high concentration of the arts in cities, leads to higher civic engagement. There's more social cohesion. higher child welfare, and in cities particularly, it lowers the poverty rates. Perhaps one of the most significant, and I didn't list it as number one, but I think that one of the most significant parts of the arts is that they strengthen the economy. They help us grow. They help us out of times of recession, and that is very important. The nation's arts and culture sector, nonprofit, commercial, and educational, is a $919.7 billion industry, and it supports 5.2 million jobs. That's 4.3% of our nation's economy. A larger share of the GDP than agriculture, transportation, and construction. The arts have a $33 million trade surplus, which is very significant because we have a trade deficit in many other areas except in the arts. In Maryland, the Department of Commerce, which oversees the Maryland State Arts Council, have done studies, and in the fiscal year of 2016, it had an economic impact of the arts in Maryland. It was $1.32 billion. 16,600 full-time jobs were generated by Maryland not-for-profit arts organizations and the audiences who attended their performances. Annually, $56 million in state and local taxes were generated from arts events, and over 8 million people attend arts events in Maryland every year. Like all other industries, COVID had a real impact on the arts. Many arts organizations struggled, but because they're artists, they continued to fight on. And almost all the arts businesses that I'm aware of, and particularly those in Maryland, have made it back from COVID. It's not been an easy trek, but they're back, and they're offering wonderful opportunities for all of us. There is also a $632 million in direct spending into the economy from arts organizations. For every dollar in arts operating budgets, $3.83 in economic activity is generated. Nationally, the nonprofits arts industry generates $166.3 billion in economic activity, spending by organizations and audiences. It supports 4.6 million jobs and generates $27.5 billion in government revenue. Very significant. The nation's art and culture sector, nonprofit, commercial, education, is a huge industry that supports many jobs. The arts also accelerate economic recovery. A growth in the arts employment has a positive and causal effect on overall employment. Arts drive tourism and revenue to local businesses. And this is particularly true, and we'll talk in a minute about arts across Harford, but it drives revenue to businesses. Attendees at nonprofit arts events spend $31.47 per person per event beyond the cost of admission. They spend it on things like meals, which helps restaurants, parking, lodging, babysitters. It's a valuable commerce engine for businesses and for people. 34% of the attendees who attend arts events live outside the county or the area where the event is being held. And that generates $47.57 in events-related experiences. As I've said, and I think that it's particularly important, nonprofit arts industries generate $166.3 billion in economic activity. Arts travelers are ideal tourists. They stay longer, they spend more, and they seek out cultural experiences which tell them about the people and the areas. One of the things that's closest to my heart is the arts in academic performance. I spent 35 years in higher education, and I can tell you firsthand that students involved in the arts are better students. They know how to manage their time, they know how to focus, and their rehearsal gives them discipline. Students in arts have higher GPAs. Elementary and high school students score higher on standardized tests, and it improves the college going rate. I would read students' essays as an instructor in higher education as they wanted to enter a school and participate in the arts, and they were all active in the arts in high school. Some of them were active in athletics and the arts, but it helped them a great deal. The Department of Education reports that access to arts education for students of color is lower than for their white peers. And that's something that we need to correct. It will help those students. 91%, and I'm going to repeat that number, 91% of Americans believe that arts are a part of a well-rounded K through 12 education. And I firmly believe that as well. I would say that the arts are an essential part of a well-rounded K through 16 education through college. Arts unify communities. 72% of Americans believe the arts unify our communities, regardless of age, race, or ethnicity. And 73% agree that the arts, quote, help me understand other people and other cultures better. That's a perspective that's observed across all economic and demographic categories. So the next thing is, how are the arts impact the human spirit? And I think that that is very, very important. Art makes you think. What is the artist trying to say? Why did they create the work they did? Why does that picture look like that? What does that movement in modern dance mean? Those are the questions that you ask yourself when you observe an arts event. Why did they write that song? Why did they choose those lyrics for that song? You may not like hip hop music, but that music, that is a way to make me think. When you listen to hip hop music and you listen to the lyrics, you think a lot of things, some of them positive, some of them negative. Art takes you places. You may see pictures or photographs or films of things you've never seen. You may see artist rendering of the Grand Canyon, and you may never have been there, of places across the sea. They depict unique locations. One of the things that the Maryland Center for the Arts offers every year is a Plein Air Festival where artists come to Harford County and paint different sites in Harford County. Every one is different. Every painting shows me a part of Harford County that I've never seen before. And it makes me want to go to those places because it is important. Art makes you feel something. When was the last time you heard the song that you remember an old friend, or a song that meant a lot to you? When you have a song that's your special wedding song and you hear it after 25 years of marriage, does that take you somewhere? Absolutely. Listening to music can create longing, it can create empathy, and it reaches us on an emotional level, not just a psychological level. Music is important to having a good time. Does music make you feel good? Yes, it does. And that's what makes me feel. The arts make you look. It's hard to walk by an art piece and not look at it. And then it makes you really look at it and wonder, what are they thinking? Particularly if it's modern art. What was they thinking? What is that? Why is that? That goes back. What about plays and movies? Don't we watch without turning away? Unless it's a particularly scary movie, which I don't go to. But we watch those to gain the information. Arts make you laugh. And that's particularly true in the entertainment industry. We all like a good laugh. Look at television shows, which I consider to be part of art. What's the funniest one you've ever seen? What are musicals like Nonsense, which is a very funny musical about a group of nuns. And there are others, the Book of Mormon, which was one of the most hilarious ones. So the arts make you laugh. They lift your spirit and really, really help do that. The other thing that arts do is they make you realize that people are fundamentally the same around the world and throughout time. We still laugh at the works of Shakespeare. We understand what that is. If you've ever seen a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, we laugh at the same jokes that the people in Elizabethan England laughed to. Plays like Oscar Wilde wrote, same thing. We laugh at that. We laugh at a play like A Man Who Came to Dinner, or we laugh at plays like Odd Couple, because they make us realize we're all the same. And how many films are translated to other countries so that people can enjoy them? And that makes us realize that the arts speak universally. And anything that speaks universally brings us all closer together. Arts last longer than most things. How many paintings are hundreds and hundreds of years old? If you go to a museum, they're there, and they're often in the same colors and have the same power that they had when they were first created. The first artists were actually the cavemen. And if you ever seen a cave painting, you get some understanding of what their life was like. What animals did they hunt? Who were the best hunters? Who were the best looking hunters? So art has lasted for millions of years, and it's still going. That's a lot longer than a lot of other things. Clothing, particularly, it changes over the years, but arts last longer. The art of Van Gogh, the music of Bach or Beethoven, there's a long list. Art outlives artists. One of my favorite musicians was Jimmy Buffett. He will be remembered for his music. He will live on long after he's passed. There is a great song out there called I Want to Live Forever. I want to catch tomorrow now. And part of it is you'll know me when I'm gone because of my songs. And artists are the same way. We know who Leonardo da Vinci was because of his paintings. We know who great musicians were because of their music, and they live on. They live on in all society, and that is very, very important. Art feels good to make. Like I've said, we're not judging you. You may sing in the shower and be as off key as possible, but it makes you feel great. It makes you feel wonderful. You may sit down with your child and paint. How does that make you feel? Working with your child to paint, create art. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Working with other people in collaboration is an art form, whether it's in a symphony or a play or a poetry reading. All of those things make us feel good emotionally and physically. Dancing, particularly, that makes us feel great emotionally. Songwriters, poets express their inner feelings. Dancers express emotion. Even singing in the shower, like I said, makes us feel wonderful. Creating is one of the best things you can possibly do. You don't need language to understand art, which is really, really important. You can look at a picture and speak any language you want. How many of us don't speak French, and yet we understand the beauty of the Mona Lisa? How many of us don't understand some of the words in hip hop, and yet we appreciate the beat and we dance to it? So art is a language unto itself, and it helps us understand. And we don't need to communicate vocally or with words to communicate emotion. Dancers communicate emotion without ever saying a word. And if you've ever seen a really, really exciting dance, Some of them tell stories. We're in the Christmas season. A lot of people are doing the Nutcracker. That tells a story. We don't have to communicate it through language. We can tell the story through movement. We can tell the story through movement of modern dance. All of those things help us understand. You enjoy the spirit and colors without hearing or saying a word. And whether the art is European, whether it's African, whether it's Asian, American, or Icelandic, it doesn't need words. And finally, art says things that words just can't say. We've seen how a sunset looks 300 years ago. Somebody can't tell us what it looked like. We have to see it. We know how people dressed 1,000 years ago because of art. We know how they carried their bodies. We know how an anonymous man or woman might have felt about an anonymous man or woman, an anonymous child in a strange land. What love looks like, what the world did look like, and what it could look like. That's the real important part of arts in the human spirit. What is it? What did it look like? And all of us participate. So, do we have arts in Harford County? Indeed, we do. We've just finished the arts in Harford County, the Arts Across Harford. And that was 16 days of various arts groups performing all sorts of different arts events. And this is going to be an annual process to celebrate the many, many arts across Harford. Upcoming is Lyriodendrons going to pay an exhibit called Observations in Nature. There's dance lessons at the Armory. The State Theater is going to do a Grease sing-along. And if you've ever been to one of those, they're fantastic. And everybody enjoys it. The Maryland Center for the Arts has Sing Out. And Sing Out is you go to a place where there's a musician performing, and part of the way through their act, they have you sing out with them. The Nutcracker is going to be done in several places, in town, at the Amos Center, John Carroll, and all sorts of those things are going on. Radium Girls is going to take place. So Arts Across Harford doesn't stop at 16 days. It continues. And we really, really want people to attend, and people do attend these events to see what's happening in the arts. So Arts Across Harford is an event that happens once a year, but it extends throughout the year. And when you come next September, for that period of time, we hope you'll join us for this intense this intense time of arts. And we had many, many, many participants this year. The Maryland Center for the Arts has a mission, and that mission is to provide a broad range of creative and collaborative experiences. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because you can. But our idea is to create a visual performing arts center for the region and allow access and quality spaces for artists, both from the center and beyond, to exhibit, present, and participate in the arts. Now, we know we're headed in the right direction. For a couple of years, we had cut the trees and there was no progress, but now we've made progress, and the land has been cleared, the parking lot has been laid, and we're ready to start doing things like arts education and appreciation opportunities, be it dance. If you look to the bottom right, we had an event called Trees, where students studied scientifically the trees in the morning and then created art in the afternoon about the trees. The picture in the top center talks about dance and the art of dance. And the picture below is we brought choreographers from New York and various teachers to teach all students new techniques in dance. And one of the things that we're going to do, one of the things that we'll do in January is have what we call an instrumental petting zoo. And students will be able to go to Musicland and pick up instruments that they may not be familiar with and get to work with them and practice with them. So those arts education opportunities are just fantastic. We also do presentation opportunities. And the presentation opportunities abound now and will in the future. In December, on December 10th, is Rejoice, where choruses, the Deer Creek Chorus, the Upper Chesapeake Chorus, and the Bel Air Chorus are going to perform songs from the season. And we would encourage you to attend. Admission is only $5, and so you can enjoy those types of things. We're going to have other events in the future, and you can see pictures there. The top left is a sing out. In June 21 is going to be the Music and Beer Fest on site, where we will bring musicians, 10, 12 different musicians or groups for your enjoyment. In March, we're going to have a Irish performance in an Irish dance lesson at the Highland School, who've been very generous to us, and you can participate in those. In February, we're going to have a dance troupe, an African dance troupe, and a drum circle, which everyone can participate in. In the end of summer, we're going to have a camp for young people to create art, and it's going to be called Earth, Wind, Water, and Fire. And the arts events will center around those elements, those natural elements. And in that case, we're combining STEAM, which is science, technology, art, and engineering and mechanical. So those things are all part of the arts. The arts figure into every facet of our life. The Maryland Center for the Arts presents those opportunities, and we're just one group of many. We have exhibit opportunities every year, and this in 2024, it'll be in September 14th. And these are artists who are exhibiting plein air paintings. The gentleman in the middle is from Virginia. This year we had artists from New Jersey, Maine, and faraway places. So we have those exhibit opportunities. And when we get our site open, we'll have more exhibit opportunities. So we offer arts education, exhibit opportunities, and performance opportunities for all artists, not just ones that we know. So if you want to create some art and you want us to work with you, all you have to do is let us know, and we'll work with you. We want to bring the arts to Harford County, as do many other groups. The last thing I think that those are upcoming arts events, which we've already talked about. You can see the joy on the face of the young woman who visiting a arts petting zoo. She picked up a ukulele, had never played it before, and really enjoyed it. And I think she ended up buying one. So those lists there are all the arts events which are going to take place for the Maryland Center for the Arts in 23 and 24. So we hope you'll join us for every one. Imagine art here. We have created and are moving very quickly on creating a space, an outdoor space for the arts. We have leveled the land. We've put in the parking lot, and we'll be able to, in the spring, host events on a grassy area, whether it's tents or not. And in the meantime, we'll be in progress of trying to build our building. And all of that is involved to get as many arts organizations as possible to participate in outdoor activities. Nothing is greater than sitting outside under the moonlight and listening to music. That's what we plan to do. Nothing is greater than working with young people in the woods, in earth, wind, water, and fire. We'll be able to host dance companies. We'll be able to set up temporary stages to do those various things. The big event will be the music festival, which comes around in June. And we'll have 2 stages on which the musicians will perform. So the arts will be there. And the Center for the Arts, if you can imagine it, on that site, it will be there. We look forward to having the property cleared. And for those of you who have that question, the trails, the Bear Legacy trails, will reopen at that time. Finally, I think that it's important to understand, what would you do if we took away all the arts for a day? If you notice, that's blank. That's because every element in your life is impacted by the arts. There had to be an artist of some type who designed the exit signs in your building, the architects who created the buildings, the stairways. You couldn't listen to the car radio. You couldn't play a CD. You couldn't do any of those things if we had a day without arts. You couldn't look at a statue. So a day without arts, imagine that, is like a PowerPoint presentation with nothing on it. It would be a blank day. It would be a dark day because we could not enjoy. We could not enjoy. You may not like the elevator music that they play in the grocery store, but it's still there. And it's there because it will encourage you to buy, whether you like the music or not. So a day without the arts would be devastating. And you would notice it quickly. Imagine getting in your car and not listening to the radio, period. That would be a difficult. Or put in a CD, or listen to Spotify. All of those are arts which are part of our life. And the arts are ingrained in us. And without it, we would be lifeless, boring people. So, in conclusion, the Maryland Center for the Arts and I believe this, that the power of the arts is that they can connect us to one another. And the arts can lead us to discovering larger truths about ourselves and what it means to be alive and what it means to be a human. That is a wonderful gift that is given to all of us by the arts. The arts will help us.
Well, thank you so very much.
Was that okay?
Whoops. There we go. Okay, I thought it said something had stopped and I was concerned that it was the recording. I want to thank you so much for doing this, giving us an overview, not only of the importance of arts generally, but also a glimpse into some of what's going on in Harford County in the arts. Yeah. For the benefit of our listeners, I do want to talk about 2 events that the Historical Society has upcoming in December of 2023 during the holiday season. The first is we will be offering historic tours of downtown Bel Air as part of the Winter Wonderland events on Fridays and Saturdays, beginning right after Thanksgiving and continuing into mid-December. We also have a green sale where we have a floral designer, an artist of a different sort, who will be preparing Advent wreaths and then door wreaths for those who want to use wreaths for their, I can't get this off though. I want to just go away. There we go. Who want to use wreaths. Both of those are available at our website, harfordhistory.org. And we welcome you to participate in those as well as in all the other holiday events that will be going on, the sing-alongs, Rejoice. You didn't specify, where is Rejoice going to be
St.
conducted?
Matthew's Lutheran Church.
Yes, I suspected that they have a very nice facility. We've
Very
been there.
nice facility, yes.
I've been there several times for events. So I encourage all of you to participate in the arts during this holiday season and throughout the year. Watch what's happening on Tollgate Road at the Center for the Arts. If you drive by it on a regular basis, you can see the construction advancing, and I'm excited to hear that this summer we can look forward to some outdoor performances that I think will be great.
Very much.
That'll be wonderful. So thank you very, very much for spending some time with us, Bob.
And I would like to say that we put out a newsletter every week, and your events and any arts groups or anyone that has an arts event, if they send it to us at the Maryland Center for the Arts, go to the webpage and just send it. We will publish it and send it to our mailing list. And that's a great way to communicate with it. And so we will do that. And all they have to do is just send us an email and we'll put them on the list. And you particularly send the two events you just discussed, and we'll make sure they get on the website so that people can view them and it'll be on the newsletter.
Well, great. Thank you very much for offering the Historical Society to publicize events that are important to us. And I also have to mention that Harford 250 continues on. We publish a monthly newsletter, and we publish events from the Maryland Center for the Arts, for Elyria Dendra, for a number of the other arts and museum organizations around the county. So thank you again very much for spending some time with us, Bob, and I hope you have a very good holiday. Take care.
Same to you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.